स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Welcome again in the series of a lecture regarding the GPSC exams. We already discussed the new unit, new chapter, that is process costing in the last session, and we were discussing regarding the process costing and how the process costing can required, which type of companies and manufacturing companies are actually applied process costing in their units to know how the cost has been calculated and which type of process has been actually continuously worked regarding the different type of material, labor and overheads to be used in the respected process to identify their cost structures. So, now according to the requirement of a calculation of a process costing or a cost calculations, there are certain steps and there are certain requirement of slabs to understand the process costing method. For that we are starting here for the solution of problems. So, one by one we will discuss the problems regarding the different methods of the process costing. Today I am starting with the very basic questions and very basic problem regarding the process costing, how the manufacturing unit has been divided of their products into a different process, how the process costing has been worked in the manufacturing units, what type of cost calculation methods to be applied in the process costing, which type of accounts has to be prepared, how the entry has to be recorded in the respected process account, where the expenditures to be recorded and incomes to be recorded, how the process costing ends in the particular level and which way the transfer of the respected process unit or amount into the next process. At the end of the whole process accounts and the whole process system, what would be the outcome, and the outcome has to be transferred into the respected finished goods account also. This is what we understood in the last session so far as theory is concerned. Here we are trying to solve out the problems regarding the process costing. Let us begin with this first problem of the process costing, and this is a question of the process costing. Here a product passes through a 3 distinct process to completion. So, that means the whole question actually designed in this way. There are 3 different processes of the manufacturing unit, where the process 1, process 2 and process 3, there are 3 different processes, and these informations are given on the respected period. The period is given March 2007. That means the informations which we carried out of the first week of March 2007, and for that the company is manufacturing 500 units. So, that means they are actually having a different processes of all 3 parts for 500 units. That means the company is manufacturing 500 units in the first week of March 2007, and regarding this particular manufacturing process, they are having a certain expenditures according to the following formats. See the formats, in the formats we have 3 different elements of cost, that is material, labor and direct expenses, which has to be divided for all the 3 different processes, process 1, process 2 and process 3. So, material expenditures are incurred for the process 1 30,000, for the process 2 15,000 and for the process 3 10,000, as it is clearly visible in the slide. Now, see here, for labor expenditures also divided according to the process, that is 25,000, 20,000 and 25,000 for the continuous all the 3 processes, as well as we have a certain direct expenses also for all the 3 different processes, that is 5,000, 1,000 and 5,000, as you can easily identify from the table. Now, the very important thing is these are the elements of cost, and elements of cost has been actually divided for the respected process which are actually incurred during the process of the manufacturing of 500 units. After this format and after the tabulation informations, we have another paragraph. In this paragraph, it was mentioned that the indirect expenses also incurred in the business, and that is 14,000 rupees. So, the indirect expenses for the period were 14,000, apportioned to the process account on the basis of wages. Now, here this is very important. This expenditures, it's actually the expenses are 14,000 rupees, and this has to be distributed on the basis of wages expense. It means that the total indirect expenses of 14,000 has to be divided between all the 3 process accounts according to the respected proportion. And which way the proportion has to be calculated? Proportion has to be calculated on the basis of wages proportion. So, wages expenditures are already given here. If you are going to see the labor expense, the labor is a wages expense, and according to these three expenses, we need to identify the proportion of all these three expenses, and according to this proportion, this 14,000 rupees of indirect expenses will be divided between all the three process. Right. So, that we will calculate it and we will understood at the time of the calculation. Now, the next item is no work in progress or process stocks existed at the close of the work. That means, at the time of a closing of the process account, there is nothing we have to work in progress so far, as well as we do not have any closing stock of the respected process account. So, we have whatever the informations of the respected process account, that whole informations would be transferred into the next preceding process. From these all above informations, we are asking to required to prepare a process account showing the total cost per unit in each process. Now, this is the another information which we need to identify and we need to calculate it, that is the cost per unit. So, CPU. We need to calculate it CPU according to the information of the respected process account. So, this is what we have to understood. Now, see, the briefing of this whole question is there are three different processes: process 1, process 2, process 3. All these three processes informations are clearly given in the tabulation format, and elements of cost expenditures are clearly defined for each process. Other than this, we have indirect expenses also, that is overheads, and that indirect expenses is given in total. So, it is not as specifically mentioned for the respected process account, but it is clearly mentioned in the question how the indirect expenditures has to be distributed, a portion, and it is to be distributed according to on the basis of wages calculation. So, wages proportion has to be identified first, and according to the wages proportion, indirect wages will be distributed between the process account. So, this is what the briefing of this question. Now, let us start the solution of this particular problem. Let us begin with the first process account and the process number 1. Now, here if you are going to see the process account simply prepared in a T-shaped format. The T-shape, it is an account shape format, and in the process 1 account, particular amount which is debit side and the another particular amount which is actually a credit side. So, this is you can say it is a debit information, and the debit informations which we are carried according to the two columns, and the other two side is this is a credit information. So, now if we have any incomes, it would be recorded here, and if there is any expenditures, all expenses are recorded in the on the debit side. Now, on the basis of the questions, we will just have to identify these informations. Only we will take it the three elements of cost of the process account 1. So, we need to concentrate only this first process account information, and along with that we need to understand this 500 units also, very important, right. So, material cost is given 30,000, labor cost is given 25,000, and direct expense is given 5,000. So, now see here, according to this process 1, see the first item, to material introduced. It means at the time of the beginning of the process account, the material introduced rupees 30,000 rupees from the process 1, and at that point of time it is very clearly mentioned in the question, it is actually introduced material, and we are starting a process of manufacturing of a 500 units. So, it is very clearly mentioned here also the 500 units for manufacturing whatever the processes begin. So, material introduced for 500 units, and that is 30,000. Then the labor cost which is given in the question 25,000 rupees, direct expenses 5,000. So, all these three expenses is already given here. See here in the question, in the process account 30,000, 25,000 and 5,000 for all the three elements of cost, which is very clearly written in the process account debit side. Because of these three are expenses, it is clearly recorded as per the question, right. Now, very important part, as per the question, if you are going to see here, the indirect expenses for the period were rupees 14,000 apportioned to the process on the basis of wages. As I already mentioned in the question, this 14,000 rupees will be distributed between all the three processes according to the wages proportion. Now, see here in the answer, working number 1. So, in this working number 1, indirect expenses is apportioned on the basis of wages. So, we just identified the wages of all the three processes, that is 25,000, 20,000 and 25,000. See here in the question we have a wages 25,000, 20,000 and 25,000. So now we will find out the proportion of all these three wages, and that it comes to 5:4:5. So the proportion of the wages for all the three processes, it's 5:4:5, and their total it comes to 14. Now this 14,000 rupees indirect expenses will be distributed between all the three processes on the basis of this proportion. The proportion is very clear, 5:4:5, and the total is 14. So now 14,000 multiplied by 5 divided by 14, which comes to rupees 5,000. So that is an expense, indirect expense for the process 1. So it will be recorded on the debit side, rupees 5,000 of indirect expenses. So in front of indirect expenses, rupees 5,000 in the process 1 account. Now from the question you can identify we don't have any income so far. So on the income side, on the credit side, we don't have any income so far. We are not supposed to consider for the same. Now the making a total of the debit side, and the total of the debit side which comes to 65,000 rupees. Now here the process 1 account at end 65,000 rupees expenses are incurred. Now as I already very clearly mentioned that that is given in the question itself also, we don't have any work in progress so far, as well as they don't have any closing stock also. So on the credit side, no work in progress, no closing stock, no sales value, no any byproducts value, or no any other normal wastages or abnormal wastages. So process 1 account credit side, only the amount which is actually incurred in the process 1 will be transfer into the process 2 account. If you remember in the theory, we were clearly discussed that at the end of the process 1, whatever the finished part and the finished goods were received, that is a raw material for the preceding process. That means it is a raw material for the next process, and that's why we mention here the total amount of the process 1 transfer to process 2 account, and that amount is rupees 65,000. Whatever the total we have in the process 1 at the end of the process 1, that is transfer to the process 2 account. So that is actually a finished goods and a finished part of the respected process or a process 1 become a raw material for the preceding process or on the next process. Now we need to calculate the second answer of the particular process, and that is CPU. See the working number 2. Cost per unit, that is your second answer. Cost per unit calculated is equal to the total amount of the cost incurred of the respected process divided by the number of units manufactured in this respected process. So 65,000 is the total cost of the respected process, and the divided by 500 units, which comes to 130 rupees. So 130 rupees, it is a cost per unit of the process 1. In short, we don't have any amount of incomes so far in the process 1 account, and which is actually incurred at 65,000 rupees of a total cost. This total cost divided by the number of units manufactured in the respected process, which is actually your answer, the cost per unit of rupees 130. So now moving to the next part. This is what we already mentioned here. The process 1 finished goods becomes a raw material of the process 2. So now see here in the process 2 debit side, if you are going to identify it very clearly, here on the debit side, first item which is actually comes from the process 1 account. Here it should be written transfer to process 1. It is actually written process 2. No, it is process 1. So here on the debit side, transfer from process 1 65,000 rupees. So here the amount which is actually considered as a raw material of the process 2, which was actually a finished part or a finished goods of the process 1. See here, this is a finished goods of a process 1 and now become a raw material of a process 2, comes always first on the debit side of the respected process account. So 65,000 rupees, it's a beginning item of the particular process. Now 65,000 rupees, it's actually a raw material of the process 2, right? Now we will identify it and we will find out the whichever the expenditures are incurred in the process 2 account. For that we need to see the question once again. The question is very clearly identified, whatever the expenses are incurred in the process 2 account. All the three expenses are actually material, labor and direct expenses. All these three expenses 15,000, 20,000 and 1,000. These three expenses are going to record in the process 2 account debit side. Now see the debit side of a process 2 account: material, that is 15,000, labor, that is wages, 20,000, and direct expenses rupees 1,000. So all these three expenses are actually taken from the respected table and the respected questions, and all these three expenses are recorded on the process account debit side. Now we have a indirect expenses also, as we already have a total amount of indirect expenses given in the question, which we need to apportion. As we already calculated in the process 1 account, we find out the proportion of the wages, and according to the proportion of wages we need to identify the indirect expenses for process 2. So indirect expenses of process 2 would be identified. What is the proportion for process 2? The proportion for process 2 is 4. So 14,000 rupees, it's a total expense. Fourth proportion is actually for process 2, and the total proportion is 14. In this way we identified the amount of indirect expenses for the process 2 account is rupees 4,000, and that is to be recorded in the process account debit side, process 2 account debit side, rupees 4,000. So these are the expenses of the process 2 account, along with the transfer from the process 1, and the expenses which are specifically incurred for the process 2 are going to record on the process 2 account debit side. Now again, in the same way, we do not have any income so far for the process 2 account. So we do not have any incomes for the process 2 account, whether it is a normal wastage, abnormal wastage, byproducts, or maybe any other part of a transfer units or transfer goods which are actually concerned for the credit side, but we do not have this credit items, and that is why the total amount of a process 2 account, it comes to 1,05,000 rupees, and the total amount of 1,05,000 rupees will be carried forward in the process 3, because of the total amount as actually it is a finished goods of a process 2 becomes a raw material for the process 3, and that is why this has to be transferred to process 3 account. So now the total amount of 1,05,000 rupees will be transferred to the process 3 account. Again, we need to identify the cost per unit, CPU. How the CPU would be calculated? It is the same formula as we used in the previous process. The total amount of cost incurred of the respected process divided by the number of units manufactured, and that is 500. So 1,05,000, it is a total amount of cost of the process 2 divided by the 500 units were manufactured for the process 2, and it comes to rupees 210. So this is a cost per unit of the process 2 account. So this is the way to find out the CPU for the process 2. Moving to the next process, that is the last process, process 3. First we will actually identify the item which was actually brought forward from the process 2, and the amount item brought forward from the process 2 is 1,05,000. Now see here the process 3. The first item is we actually transfer from the process 2 account. This is actually written here 3, it is not 3, it is process 2, because of we transferred from the process 2 rupees 1,05,000 rupees. So 1,05,000 rupees is transferred from process 2, that is your first item, and along with that whatever the expenses are incurred in the respected process 3, material, labor, direct expenses and indirect expenses are going to record on the debit side of the process 3 account. This was actually taken from the question. Material expense incurred in the process 3, that is 10,000 rupees. Labor expense, that is wages, incurred for the process 3 account, that is 25,000 rupees. Direct expenses are rupees 5,000. These 3 expenses are clearly mentioned in the question. See the question. The question, it's mentioned very clearly that 10,000, 25,000 and 5,000 rupees expense incurred for the respected process 3, and 14,000 rupees is incurred indirect expenses. Now see the answer. The process 3, it shows all the 3 expenses 10,000, 25,000 and 5,000 rupees of the respected item, material, labor and direct expenses. And indirect expenses we find out in the same way as we find out for the last 2 process also. According to the proportion, it has to be distributed to indirect expense of the process 3 account. We distributed of 5, we distributed on the basis of the proportion of 5 by 14, and that is 5,000 rupees, which is recorded in the process 3 account debit side, indirect expense rupees 5,000. So in this way the total amount of expenditures incurred for the process 3 account, it comes to 1,50,000 rupees. So 1,50,000 rupees, it's a total expenses of process 3, which is actually transfer into the next process. Now here concentrate very specifically. Here instead of we return the transfer into the process 4 account or any other things, we write here the transfer to the finished stock account. Why we write it transfer into the finished stock account? Because of, as per the questions, we have a clear information that we have only 3 processes so far manufacturing is concerned. After third process we don't have any further processes, and that is why it is transferred to finished stock account. It's understood that there is a third process is the last process of the manufacturing of a goods, and that's why after the end of the third process it is considered as a finished goods and then must be transferred to the finished stock account, and that is why it is written here at the end of the third process it is transferred to finished stock account. The total amount of process 3 cost is 1,50,000, and this 1,50,000 rupees has to be transferred to the finished stock account, and again it is calculated a CPU. The 1,50,000 rupees is a total cost. 500 units were manufactured so far as the 3 processes concerned, and that's why the cost per unit is actually received, that is rupees 300. So the 300 rupees is so far the cost per unit. Now see here, this is your final answer. The final answer is comes to the amount of a manufacturing goods. Cost of amount of a manufacturing goods is rupees 1,50,000 so far, and the cost per unit of the particular manufacturing goods is rupees 300. So this is the way to calculate it, the process 1, process 2 and process 3. We already divided the whole expenditures are in the proportion of a respected process. According to the informations, we recorded all the expenditures in the respected process account. At the end of the respected process, we find out the total amount, which is actually transfer into the next process account. We identified also there would be a no income generate in the respected process account, as well as we don't have any closing stock or other informations also, and that is why whatever the cost is incurred on the debit side of the respected process, we identified that is the total cost which would be transferred into the preceding process or the next process, and in that way we consider that the finished goods of the respected process account become a raw material of a next process account. Now at the end of the third process, we identified also we have only 3 processes, we don't have any further processes so far. So at the end of the third process, we identified the cost has been incurred for the respected manufacturing product. It is a last process, and that's why this has to be transferred into the finished stock account, and that is why we write it there in the process account credit side. The amount which is incurred at the end of the third process, it is transferred to finished stock account. As we find out the cost per unit at every particular process, the total amount of cost incurred into the respected process divided by the number of units manufactured in the respected process, that is 500. So the cost amount divided by the number of units manufactured, this is the way you can identify the cost per unit also. This is a very simple problem. This is actually taken very simple problem to explain how the process is actually worked and how the process costing method is applied by the manufacturing company. In the next sessions, we will discuss some another type of problem also, where we can add some more incomes items also, as we will actually prepare some different columnars also, 2 columnar process account also. So you would get a different type of questions also. This is a way to prepare a process account. So any type of process account problems, it has to be resolved and solved out in this way only, in this format only. But maybe the format is gradually changed. It's a single columnar process account, maybe 2 columnar process account, maybe 3 columnar process account also. So we'll come a day different type of questions in the coming session. This is what I want to explain so far, the process costing problem solutions in the beginning of the practical problems regarding the process account. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
स्वाध्याय टीवी